Today we're speaking to Zlata, and in 3 months she's doubled the size of her business. She's got a bespoke tailoring business and things are going well. She wants to open a second location. She wants to have a chat with us about the fears of being in business. In the conversation, we have a conversation about the first time she had to pay her VAT bill, thinking that was incredibly unfair. How is she going to find the money for it? If this sounds like a conundrum you've been in business, you're going to really love this conversation. But before we jump into that, this video is supported by Revolut Business. If you work internationally, their multi-currency accounts make life way easier. And they've got a £200 bonus if you're opening a new account. Details are coming up. Welcome back to the Business Broadcast. I'm James Sinclair, and you are?
I'm James Bird, James Sinclair's best friend. He doesn't know that's unofficial.
There we go. We are speaking to Zlata today. Zlata?
I think it's Zlata.
Zlata.
We'll find out in a second.
Company is alterationsandbespoke.com. Tell us about it, JB.
So she has been going under 2 years. So she has a newbie business. She said in her own words, she went, I just need some advice and guidance on how to move things forwards. But she's already in 2 short years doing 15 grand a month. Good for her. She's got 3 team members. Biggest challenge, growth. Second biggest challenge, increasing in revenue. Third biggest challenge, exposure. Where do you want to be in 1 year's time? We always ask our entrepreneurs that. And she said, I want to open one more business location in Canary Wharf in London. What does your business look like when it's finished? We always ask our entrepreneurs that. And she said a net of boutique tailoring shops around central London. Do you make the profit that you want to? And if so, what is it? And she said, no, not yet. She didn't tell us what it is, but she said, not yet. And then we asked her, how do you spend... Oh, here we go. How do you spend your time day to day in your business? I work a lot, waking up at 4:30 with virtually no days off and no holidays. Every day creatively brainstorming how to grow and retain customers and educate London residents on how much different and future forwarding our tailor shop is. I think I might be reading that incorrectly, and why they should choose us. So basically doing marketing. Questions you'd like to, and then she got some questions that she'd like to ask you. So she's a very, very new business. They do alterations. So I think if I'm reading, I might have got this incorrect, but I think they do tweaks and alterations to suits.
Good business. Once you get a tailor, you stick with them. I think it's just finding them, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. So I wonder if do you take the items to her maybe already? I'm not sure. But a new business. But hey, tell you what, in terms of our work featured in, she's been featured in The Guardian, Racing News. She's done a bespoke outfit for Lewis Hamilton. She's been in Glamour magazine in Poland, Farfetch, The Mail Online, Vogue Runway. She's done some stuff. I've been going a couple of years, but she has done some stuff.
It's quite good. It says she's doing £15,000 a month and there's one location. I imagine she's, there's good gross profit on that, but before the overheads. And she's in the best city in the world, in my opinion, to get customers. London, 9 million people on your doorstep, gang.
Absolutely. All the right sort of people, isn't it, as well? I can see why Canary Wharf would be a good spot for it.
A lot of people do get their clothes tailored and slim down. They go and buy them off the coat and then go there off the peg. Off the peg, that's the word I was looking for. And then they go to someone like, I'm sure, like alterationsandbespoke.com to be alterized.
You still seeing Frakowitz?
Yeah, I do see him. I haven't seen him in a while.
He had a baby, didn't he?
Yeah.
Congratulations, Michael Frakowitz.
Congratulations, Michael Frakowitz. And I see he's in Riyadh a lot now.
He is, isn't he?
He's all over Saudi Arabia, baby.
I love his Instagram videos.
His new shop.
He skips into the shop and goes, hey guys, today on the thing. And then he just walks you in. I'm like, I would buy everything in here.
Yeah.
He's got such a lovely way with him, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's a lovely man.
People buy from people. And he's a great example of that.
So, what are we doing now? Knock on the door?
Knock on the door, indeed. It's time for this.
Interesting quote or fact. Interesting.
And then we're going to get Zlata on.
Interesting quote or fact. It's time for the interesting quote or fact of the week.
It's time for that point of the show where we look at interesting fact or quote of the week. No. I've got a quote. I've heard this. It's a popular quote, but I'm not sure. I have to think about it a bit too much to make it a good quote. But Oakham Interiors, thank you, Oakham Interiors. We have 2 lives. The second one begins when we realize. I fluffed it. We have 2 lives. The second begins when we realize we only have one.
Well, there you go.
We're talking about Chelmsford's Chris Williams.
It doesn't really matter what I think because James just wasn't listening at all. So
No,
okay.
I wasn't. I was trying to find.
He's got to the point of the day where he's probably got. We're wrapping it for those who are new to the podcast. We batch record these. This is the fifth one of the day, and he normally has
I've got
like
mine
a bank that he has to talk to. He's normally trying to get about 10 million quid off someone at the end of most days. So he goes from this podcast and goes, "Hello, sorry, I was just doing a back-to-back podcast. Can I get my 10 million quid facility? Well, why can't you do it? What do you mean? Well, why can't you do it? Well, it's just stupid. It's stagnant growth, isn't it? Stagflation." That's what happens normally about 5
And then he
o'clock.
sits back down and doesn't listen to your quotes.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't like it when I think your quotes are right.
I've got to do a call. I've got to do a call. I need 10 million quid. Yeah, no, I've got to do a podcast. I've got to do a podcast. All right, yeah. Okay. Yeah, okay, bye. What we doing now, JP? Quote, is it?
That's exactly what it is.
Isn't
That's
it?
exactly what it's like.
Isn't it?
Come on then, what was your quote?
I just done the quote. You do yours.
Okay, I'll do mine. I've got 5 to finish off the day.
Oh, of course he has.
People stop rooting when you start winning because they only love an underdog as long as it stays an underdog.
Oh, that is true, especially in the UK. Especially in the UK. We're bad for that, I think.
Yeah,
in the UK.
real friends want you to win. And when you start winning, you realise how rare real friends really are.
That is very true as well. I want you to win. I'm a real friend.
Not everyone's meant to grow with you. Some are just there to show you exactly what it looks like if you don't.
Oh.
Very good, isn't it?
Yes, Queen.
And this one is my favourite one.
Here we
This
go.
explains human beings. Losers congregate, winners isolate.
Oh, that's true, yeah.
If everyone was supposed to win, they would have made podiums bigger.
That I like that.
There's a
good
little.
ones.
I saw some of that on someone's entrepreneurship page on Tinternet.
I like it. Very good.
If your business works across borders or handles international clients, managing finances can quickly get complicated. Revolut Business was made to solve that. I've teamed up with them to help you take control of your finances using a platform that lets you manage up to 30 currencies from one place. Perfect for working with suppliers, freelancers, or customers overseas. Revolut Business also offers interbank exchange rates, fast global transfers, and unlimited incoming transfers in major currencies like GBP, USD, Euro, and CHF, all with a clean, easy-to-use interface and support that actually responds. Currency exchange at the interbank rate is during market hours with your plan limits. Whether you're starting out or scaling globally, there's an account plan that fits, from basic to fully tailored enterprise options. If you're ready to control your business's finances, sign up to Revolut Business via the link in the video description or the podcast description or the QR code on screen right now. Do that before the 30th of June 2025. Put some money in your account and then you'll receive a £200 welcome bonus. Subscription fees and T's and C's apply. New business customers in the UK only. Big thanks to Revolut Business for sponsoring this video. Now let's get back to it.
Right, shall we dive straight in? Because poor Zlata has been waiting for 40
Zlata.
minutes for this
Yeah,
conversation.
I'm sorry,
So let's
Zlata.
get
Hello,
on up.
Zlata. Welcome to the business broadcast live in Essex.
Have we pronounced your name correctly first? Is it Zlata or Zlata?
I think both ways are correct. You nailed it both.
Both ways. Thank goodness for that. Right.
Where is
Yeah.
it from, Zlata?
I reckon Poland.
Originally in Belarus, close enough, so we're neighbors, but originally from there, and it means gold. It's kind of Slavic origin, really, so it's all over former USSR. You can find this name.
Ah, right. Right. Tell us a little bit about alterations and bespoke.com. How did you get started?
Oh my God. Well, I kind of got thrown into it. So backtrack to 2020 when the whole COVID pandemic happened. I started my business on Christmas, pretty much in 2020 when everything was shut. I used to be married to this Turkish guy, and we had 4 years of domestic violence. So we had to run away, me and my daughter, in a police car on Christmas night 2020. And I had to figure out really quickly what to do because everything was shut. I had no job. I had nowhere to go. I had no friends. I came from US because I'm an American as well. I lived there for 14 years. So it was a tough situation, but I also have a degree from FIT, Fashion Institute of Technology in New York City, where I used to live before I came to London. So I started picking up jobs from Gumtree, just sewing for £10 an hour, and just kind of trying to provide, and 24 hours a day, non-stop, nosebleeds and all. But I started basically my company right there, and it started to become really overwhelming with work. So At that point, I was dating a guy. I have very bad luck with guys. This guy, very bad. But anyways, every time, you know how we say it in Belarus, there's like a clot of hair from the bad sheep, you know. So this guy, he said, look, you know, you have to start hiring somebody because you work nonstop. And I said, well, how can I hire somebody? I can't even barely afford my own bills. You know, how is it possible to pay somebody a salary? And he said, look, you know, how about I pay your rent for this month if you can't make it, but then you use this money to hire somebody. Little did I know that this guy wasn't ever gonna pay my rent. He was lying, but but it gave me a push. It gave me I believe that everything is gonna be okay. So, and it was okay. I hired a guy, and from there, everything just started turning even faster. I started sleeping. I started taking days off. He was incredible. I mean, it just really started growing. And I started my business from a apartment above fish and chip shop infested by roaches and mice in Tollington Park in Finsbury. And literally at one point in that apartment on the top floor, I had like 6 industrial machines and all the clients and people coming in there. It was crazy. It was absolutely insane.
Wow.
So I used to have this lady who would work for me, and she used to work for this major tailoring shop in Marble Arch. So we started talking because margins in production in UK are very small because we're not China. Obviously, we have to pay fair salaries. And it kind of started to become a little bit of a factory setting or sweatshop, basically. So I didn't want that to happen. And just backtracking to the, you know, when you guys were talking about the income. So at this point, I'm now about 30K per month, which is great, you know, so it's growing really fast. But the shop that she used to work for had about 3 tailors, and they did alterations only, nothing bespoke, nothing from scratch, no dry cleaning. And they racked in about 16, 17K per day. So alterations, it's a really, really good business. And that was only one shop. So that's what gave me an idea that margins are much higher. It's less mess. It's more boutique. You know, I can dress up. I can have makeup on. I can meet and greet people instead of being stuck, you know, with my mice and roaches and all the factory setting from my apartment. And I started, you know, looking at locations because I was going after a certain demographic of people who were able to afford higher end alterations and bespoke. And I was like, right, you know, okay, I can't really afford paying rent somewhere in Zone 1 London, but I'm going to sit down, I'm going to look. I'm just going to look and find out who's who, how much does it cost, you know, what rents are, and, you know, everything, because I didn't know anything. I'm just literally learning as I go. I read a lot of business books, like 1-2 books per week, but still, you know, you still learn every day. And I started looking, and from that, you know, I would wake up at 4:30 a.m., sometimes 4 a.m. I put my computer, I put my black coffee, and I go online and start just looking. And from that idea of having a shop in central London to actually having a shop in central London with no financial backup as a single mom, basically just, you know, dragging everything on my shoulders, I think it was about 2 months that I opened my shop. So it was incredible. It was just like magic. You know?
How old is your daughter?
She's 7 now.
What's you're doing all this on your own? Running that business
Yes.
with a 7-year-old?
Yeah, by myself. No financial backup, no nothing, just by myself.
Wow, well done you, darling. Well done.
Thank you.
That's very, you know, wow. That's
seriously impressive.
So you're doing 30 grand
Thank
a
you.
month now.
Yeah.
And what's
we're
your average?
growing very fast.
What's your average order value? If I come in and want a suit tailored, what's that going to cost me?
Well, it depends. If you're just doing tapering of the suit, which is like the cheapest thing in the back, so just center back seam is like £30. But if you're shortening the sleeves, we always do it from the shoulder because I have proper tailors working. So all the work we do is properly done. So we do it always from the shoulder. So that's 120, 150 to shorten the sleeves. So it really depends. If you want to just move a button at the front to make it a little bit more slim fit, just like centimeter or a centimeter and a half, that's like £5 to move a button. So it really depends. Our prices are very competitive because I know, you know, all the competition, there's really not that much. There is, you know, the guy who runs the business where my associate came from, like he's the mafia of like the top of business. In fact, a couple of months ago, he tried to buy my business. And obviously that was really nice. It was, of course, I wouldn't sell it, but, you know, it was very nice to have this guy paying attention. to what we're doing. But so it really depends, but you really get what you pay for. So we also fix a lot of jobs that people go to tailors or dry cleaners that are not as experienced, and then they mess up and they bring it to us to fix it. So people do find value in paying a little bit more premium prices, and they're all on our website. So we're really kind of crystal clear about what we offer and how much it costs. So before you even book an appointment, you clearly see what you're going to pay, unless it's something very like tricky or specific. So yeah, it's really kind of straightforward.
What does it? What's your typical customer? Man or female?
I think both at this point. We do all kinds of stuff. We even done stuff for kids and even for dogs. You know, we done dog outfits as well. I fix toys for kids as well. Sometimes they bring in and mothballs, from like really basic stuff to something super complicated. And from scratch, we do wedding dresses and suits from scratch. So one of the ladies who works for me, she used to be lead technologist for Hugo Boss in Ukraine, and she left because of the war. And she's been working for me for about 2.5 years, and she's absolutely incredible. Like, my team are super talented, and it's very hard to find talented people who have the combination of the skills and are friendly and professional, you know. So team building is kind of very tricky, but when you find the right people, then you really have quality service to offer, and then it's easy to sell.
Interesting. And so are you making money or just turning money?
And we make money. I mean, it's not a lot of money at the moment because, you know, taxes are very high in UK, and I pay my team properly. But, you know, I'm living on this. Me and my daughter surviving on this. And so I plan to open second shop this year. So, yeah.
Why open a second shop? Why not just make more money out of the first one?
You know, because I'm a single mom, it's very scary to have all eggs in one basket. What if something happens? What if my landlord dies tomorrow? And God forbid. But you know what I mean? Like, what if the building gets sold? What if? What if? So having two shops, and also Canary Wharf is untapped territory. We live here where all the new construction is being built, where the Docklands Museum is, and it's untapped. I mean, there are so many new builds and families are moving in. It's not the Canary Wharf people. No, it's not just offices. There's so many restaurants and cafes, and my favorite cocktail bars here now, Soma. I mean, everything is moving here. But there's one dry cleaners with 3-star rating and nothing else. Actually, we have people from Canary Wharf and Canada Water coming to our shop all that way. So it's untapped. It's untapped.
Do you do dry cleaning as well?
No, we're not dry cleaners, and we make it very straightforward. Like, we really make sure people know that we're not dry cleaners, and we won't be dry cleaners, because I think there's a correlation between dry cleaners and the quality of tailoring they do. So we are boutique, bespoke, and tailoring only, but also what I did bring from my old company where I used to do production, we also do copies of garments. We also do, like, if you go to the shop and you see something you like, we can make exactly the same. And the pattern, which is the blueprint of your garment, that you, like, paper pattern that you lay on fabric, cut around it, and then you make the same thing, is basically a blueprint. It belongs to the client. So if you pay for your pattern, you can take this pattern to Portugal or Turkey and clip out perfect pants for like £5 each if you want. You don't have to sew it with us. This blueprint belongs to the client. And I don't think a single studio in London gives out the pattern, because they want clients to come back to them. But we don't care. We just give it out because we stand behind our quality, and we know that people who want to pay, they will pay for that quality.
Very interesting. Okay, right. Let's move on to the challenges.
Yeah. So challenge number one, you said, Zlata, was growth. So what's the biggest challenge with growth that you're having at the moment?
Well, I mean, that was done. So basically, I know in business there are two major problems.
Just when did you fill in this application form with us?
2-3 months ago, something like that.
Look, just pat yourself on the back then. If you've gone from 15,000,
doubled the business in
90 days, you know, you should be really proud of yourself.
I am, thank you. Yes, yeah. I am. It's a lot of hard work. It is, but it's just injecting the right, going the right place, because putting a step forward in the right direction, because we're on a very quiet street. It's like a tucked away little street where literally there's no foot traffic, virtually none, maybe 5 people through the whole day. So it's about educating. We're actually there. That we're in Pimlico is very central, essential to everywhere, Vauxhall and Victoria, and everywhere, Westminster. But it's just to educate people with that, and then to build that trust. The first couple of years where you build your reviews, word of mouth, people know what you can do, what you cannot do, and people trust people. That's just what it is.
No, if you've done it in 90 days, I mean, I don't think that's really the problem, is it now?
So, we're still educating that we're there. The business is growing very fast, but it's still a bit volatile. So we see kind of like, seasons. Sometimes Mondays would be slow, but Tuesday would be crazy. Or, weekends, sometimes in 10 hours, we can rack up like 4K, or sometimes Tuesday and Wednesday will be that day, so it's really like unpredictable. So I want more stability, predictability. So that would be great.
Well, I would go
overall, yes.
I mean, one of the things you could do is go to all the independent suit shops or high-end clothes shops within a 20-minute walk of your place and give them your details. And I think you'll find a lot of them will recommend you because they're probably asked all the time. That should be done, and pop in and see them once a year, every year, because that stuff really does work. I would then be doing Google ads and Facebook ads within a 20 minutes demographic of your shop. I think that really works as well. Have you tried any Google or Facebook ads?
Yes, I have actually. I do Google ads now, but I didn't know how to do them because, again, I'm still learning. So they were charging me something crazy, like £400 or £500 a month, and they were barely working. So I started having this intern from Kazakhstan, and he was taught by somebody who I know who owns a big marketing company, and he adjusted the Google ads for us to kind of target the specific demographic and turn on properly. So that helped a lot. And then I hired SEO guys for SEO in my website to come to forward of the page, and that also helped. So I'm learning as I go, and I try, it's trial and error kind of what works. But the main thing is that people started to spread the word. Now we're gonna celebrate 2 years on 21st of July, and by this point we have people come for recommendations as well, and that's like on daily basis.
Well, amazing. Well, it sounds like you've got that sussed as well. And what was the third one, JB?
Third one was exposure, which I guess is the same sort of thing as we're talking about there.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
There's a couple of
Do you need exposure? I mean, most of your customers are 20 minutes within where you live. And, is PR the right thing, or is that just ego? Really, is it more localized business development, knocking on doors of all those independent boutique shops and say, this is us and we can do stuff for you? I really would not discount just how powerful that could be for you.
We have done so. In fact, me and my 7-year-old, well, back then she was like 5-year-old, we would take thousands of leaflets and go around businesses and door to door, just throwing them in like day by day. So I've done that a lot, but I want to build a chain. I want my business to be like Third Space, the gym chain of tailoring. I used to be a personal trainer. I used to work and live on Wall Street, training all the Wall Street guys. So I know how gyms work and what sets them apart, being nice and clean and this and that, and giving people what they want. So I want to do the same, but with tailoring, to be known for that. Create a blue ocean, if you know what that is, right? Where we have no competition, because what we do is different. It's better service, it's different relations with the client. And when you come in, you're not intimidated by the tailor, because we hear that a lot. People are intimidated going to tailors. They don't know what to expect. But if you look at our reviews, most of the reviews, they talk about how friendly we are, how not only we do an amazing job, but the service we provide. People come with it and go away with an experience, because they won't remember the hole you patched in their pants, in their trousers, right? But they will remember how you made them feel. That's what they will remember.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, maybe then you team up. Where are high net worth people that are buying nice clothes, hanging about, and you try and take space up in those places, maybe high end gyms. You say to them, can we open a tailoring studio near you?
Well, I was actually
within a
thinking
gym?
about collaborating with Third Space. I wrote them emails, I tried to call them, but I got no reply. So that's probably another question of mine. Like, how do you get through to these people? I know you need to build a pitch deck and, offer yourself in the right way.
I would go to one of those gyms that are local to you and ask to speak to the general manager at that store, then get him to internally reach out to the decision makers, because once staff recommending something to senior management, that would get my attention more than someone cold calling me directly. If one of my managers said, "Hey, do you know about this? We should check this out." That, I think, is a much better approach.
Yes, I agree. But also we have to remember that the gym, it cannot be just a local gym. It has to be, because gyms rank from like having a £10 membership to Third Space having almost like
so
a
you go to
£300.
Third Space. I mean, I don't know what Third
Yeah,
Space is,
it
but
needs to be.
you go to Third Space near you and say, "Can I speak to the general manager, please?" So, look, I'm a tailor. I'd love to set up a concession within your gym in Victoria, wherever it is. And this is what I do. This is my shop. Is there a chance of a joint opportunity? Because I know that your clients would like this stuff. And they would go, not my decision to make, but I know the right person to go and talk to.
There's a great one near to you called the Manor. That's a brilliant gym, and that's quite high end, but it's got a lot of footfall and traffic in there. But they're a nice gym. I've been in there a few times. The Manor, that'd be a great shout.
The Manor. Yeah,
but
round
really where you're talking about, like if you come out of Victoria train station and you chuck a right walking down towards Pimlico, there's that street, isn't there, that's off the back of the main road. I can't think what it's called. There's loads of boutiques and stores down there, isn't there? Do you sort of have you reached out to those clothes shops a lot? Have you been in there and told them about your services?
No, not yet. I think that would be a great idea, because I didn't know if they actually offer any kind of alteration services for their clients, because I know places like Harrods, like Selfridges, they do, but they have usually their own teams, you see. That's the issue. A lot of times they have their own built-in teams that do the tailoring for them. Like, for instance, we had Gucci reach out to us a few times from Sloane Square. And the reason they reached out to us is because either something happened last minute with their tailor, or they had an urgent job the tailor couldn't take on. So we've done a few jobs for them last minute for their clients, which is great. Gucci's an amazing client and collaborator, but it's just one-off here and there, because they do have their own teams.
Yeah, a lot of the smaller stores won't know, I reckon. I think it's called, is it Elizabeth? Yeah, because you've got loads of nice bits around your way, haven't you? There's the because you've got all Belgravia around the back of yours. There'll be loads. If you spent a day going door to door to all the boutique clothing shops, I reckon you'd have all of the customers that you could handle out of that Pimlico shop.
Absolutely, would. Rather than just leaflet through doors
or Google ads.
Yeah.
But would you recommend to go talk to them directly and bring like a business card or leaflet, or just
business
talk to
card?
Them and
just go in there and give them a nice business card, 3 or 4, and just say, look, if you need any, we'll come and collect it from your shop, bring it back. If or you probably need to see the client, whatever it is, but just get them to recommend you. And it's the fact that you've gone in there and you look, be beautifully dressed, so that people can go, oh yeah, that person really does know her cuts of cloth.
That's a great advice. I didn't think of that before, so I'll definitely do that.
And to be honest, that's the sort of thing that you could do with very, very low cost, and you could do that tomorrow. And that's going to have more of an impact than Google ads. Like I say, Absolutely. Google ads, 400 or 500 quid. They want to spend your money as quickly as possible. You're probably going to, if it's been optimized, be like, oh yeah, anyone who's in Victoria, but how many people are looking for like hotels in Victoria or restaurant in Victoria? So your Google ads money is getting chewed through with people who are not relevant for the search term that you've actually got. Whereas if you walk down that I can't think what the flipping road is, but that road is full of high-end boutique shops.
Yeah, well, there's
full of them.
It's not just that. There's loads in London, all over the show.
Yeah.
So yeah, I did something similar because I was trying to figure out when we did have, in the start, very low flow of people. I collected names of all the boutique hotels around Victoria and all the super expensive one and medium, and I started calling one by one and then going in person to get introduced with the front desk people and saying, this is what we do, this is who we are. So if you have anybody traveling, you need last minute alterations, this is, our business card. And we did get a few jobs from it, actually. We really did.
Yeah, worth doing all that kind of stuff.
Do more of that. Do more of that. You're amazing, though. I really.
Thank you.
Well, a quick question from me: if you had to set up a business again, would you choose New York or London?
Oh,
London.
Why?
London, definitely. New York is a bit like a zoo, right? And first of all, I wouldn't raise my child in New York because it's just a bit too rough. It's a bit too dangerous. It was fun when I was in my, mid-20s to early 30s, but now I'm 40 with a 7-year-old, and I want a little bit more peace and quiet. And I find people in London to be more friendly as well, and it's just more kind of, I don't know, family oriented. It's very like when I opened my business, I felt so welcomed. No hostility at all. It was everybody behaved like we've been there for 5 years already, and that really makes a difference when you're by yourself and your knees are shaking because all you have is £10,000 loan you got from the bank for setting up your business and zero else, and you don't know what's going to happen, and your rent is going to take up twice as much in like 2 months. You know what I mean? So it's really scary. It really is. So when you have people around you and you don't know anyone as well, you have no connection, virtually nothing at all. When people are friendly and they're supportive and they started coming to our shop because they live next door and they want to see you succeed, it makes a big difference. It really does. I'm not saying New York is not friendly. It's just a bit more edgy and difficult and tough. And again, I wouldn't want my child around that.
Okay. Have you got some questions there, JB?
Yeah, there were some questions. Yeah, there was. So question number 1 was, what makes a business great?
A good model.
Yeah.
Set up for profitability that has returning customers, not one-off customers, which I think, a great business is where people return to you 4 times in quick succession. I'm not sure that is this, but that is looking at the model of a business, good margin, good repeat customers, a love, want and need, where people love what you do, they want what you do, they need what you do. They're the sort of elements of a great business, and usually where you can deliver an experience with those things. They're very rare to find, but when you do find them, they make a great business. So the model is the answer. A brilliant business model. Lots of people run great ideas or businesses, but it never really serves them what they really want. So, like a doctors and accountants, or solicitors that have regular clients, banks, they're the models where people are forced to transact with you because they can't operate their life without it.
Second question was, how do you deal with failures and the insane lows of business?
No, it's difficult. There are, bipolar moments in business. You have incredible highs and incredible lows, and your mood can change and you have to be so outwardly positive to everyone else and be dealing with tough stuff inside. And I get that. Do you still have that?
Well, sometimes. Sorry.
That's all right.
So sorry. Sometimes not as much as I used to, because I'm trying now to kind of prepare myself for those moments. Starting to have a little bit of savings and just these kind of things. So before,
so cash flow is what causes you the insane.
Yeah. Of course, because you don't know where you're going to take next rent. You have to pay salaries. You have to pay taxes.
Yeah.
These things are really, really. They're tough. They're really hard, especially in UK. And I remember my first VAT bills. I was just so taken aback, like, oh my God, how can they take so much? And when I was on the phone with them, they're almost like laughing at you, like, oh, you have to set this aside and that aside. Yeah, but what about the running costs? What about my business is new? What about, nobody cares. nobody cares. You're the only person in the center, and you got to do boss shit. You have to just pull yourself up together, and you have to sit down and be like, right, okay, this is what we're going to do. And because there's always a way. And a lot of times multiple ways. Just keeping the cool head, that's the hard part, because your whole thing is on the line. There is no plan B, basically.
Yep, I agree with all those things. No matter what happens, whether it's you got to find $5,000 this month, or in my case, you got to find £1 million this month, that is very stressful for people. And again, it comes back down to, you're in business now, and you got to work out better business models that you have more predictable cash flow, more cash up front, or contracts that give you predictable cash flow, so that you make your business have boring, predictable cash flow. That's how you stop the highs and lows.
No, there's also another thing, because my shop is very, very small. So there's only so much machinery you could put in there. So now we're having this flow of customers, but not enough time, because I can only put 2 seamstresses at the same time, right? So now the struggle is, what do we do? Because we cannot get behind on deadlines, but picking up more work is also unrealistic. So that's another reason also why I want to scale and find like a bigger place where I can set up more machineries and more people to accommodate for the demand. So there are lots of things that come in consideration where I decide to open a second location. But yeah, the main one is not to have everything in one basket, and then just to grow, basically, to scale.
But maybe try and get more contract work first of all. Like, can you find a shop that gives you regular work, or can you find an airline that always needs tailoring for staff that comes and joins them, or a hotel that needs tailoring on uniforms that come and join them, so that you've got regular, predictable cash flow? That's how you stop the highs and lows.
Yeah, we have a few great contracts. Like one of our long-term clients is FKA Twigs, the singer. So I've worked with her for years, and when she does productions or music videos or things like that, so we're always on set. We always do tailoring for her. We also collaborate with this brand Galelo, and they do really high-end stuff. It's lady's grandfather used to be lead designer for Dior, so they do absolutely incredible stuff. And you can imagine the clientele. So we do regular stuff with them. So we do have little bits here and there. It's just getting them more consistent, because at this point, it's me going to all these production sets and all these fittings and things like that. So it has to be in place.
Try and find easier work. Like, I don't know, could you, Claridge's might have all their staff
tailoring suits for hotels. That's a great shout, Jimbo.
Yeah,
because that will be easier to do than, and you go, it's another one of these, and this is what they need, and also it's a brand that I don't know who that person that you just said who they was. You obviously do, but if you say, we do stuff for Claridge's, or we do stuff for the Ritz, that would be a real kudos to have. I mean, I'm not saying all that's possible, but you're very lucky. You're in a city that will definitely have a need for something like that.
And there's not very many good tailors. That's another thing that I learned. The pool of good tailoring teams, it's very small. And most people, when they think tailor, they think suits. But we don't do just suits. We can do leather, we can do dresses, skirts, everything, soft furnishes. Think about anything. Like the other day, I was called by a hotel. It wasn't even a hotel. It was like this really fancy apartments they rent out for Airbnb, and their curtain broke. So I showed up and I fixed the curtain by hand, got paid for it, and left. And they said they have like something like 50,000 properties around town, around London, something crazy like that. So it's not just clothes. That's the thing. Like educating people that we can do just about anything that's soft and can take, thread and needle, basically.
Amazing. Well, you're a very inspirational lady, and well done for you to looking after a 7-year-old on your own, moving countries.
Nice.
I mean, it's quite inspirational, and then building a business that's doubled in size in 90 days.
You're an absolute powerhouse.
Yeah.
Good for
Thank you. Thank you so much, gentlemen. It's very kind of you
on the rating, you deserve an 8, in my opinion. I'm not going to do it properly. It's just amazing.
Yeah.
Have you listened to the podcast before?
I have a little bit, yes. But the thing is that I don't watch TV. I don't really read the news, because I just read books for the most part. I read a lot of books because I just try to educate myself. But I recently got into podcasts because, it's nice to hear the experiences. It really helps to grow, really helps to kind of predict some things, that would to happen.
So how did you find out about me and the content?
LinkedIn. On LinkedIn. I was searching through LinkedIn and I don't know, just sometimes I go and research stuff from the network and you popped out somewhere and I researched and I was like, oh, okay, this looks really interesting. And then I listened to a few podcasts. Okay, that looks like something I would love to listen to more and to especially be part of. So I made an application without any back thought of actually being contacted. And when I was contacted, I think 2 or 3 months later, I was quite shocked that I was contacted, but I was very happy. So.
Have you watched my main YouTube channel?
I don't think I have yet. No,
you
but I
really
definitely
need to
will do
watch
now.
it. There'll be loads of good videos for you to learn on there. Really, message me on Instagram.
I was researching.
Yeah,
I researched you and how you started and how you did this a soft plays for kids. And this is amazing, especially as a mom, looking at something like this, because it's also a niche, right? Really high demand niche, but it's how you do it and how you just, you're only a year younger than me, but look at you, you're incredible. It's absolutely amazing what you've done.
But I'm not looking after I do have children, but I'm not solely doing
You ain't
that.
solo parenting, pal.
No.
There's hard.
Yeah,
there's
that
difficult,
is hard.
then there's difficult.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But you must message me on Instagram and I'll send you some videos that I want you to watch from my main channel that I think will really help you.
I would love to. I definitely will. But it will come from my business Instagram because I don't have any personal social media apart from LinkedIn.
Yeah, that's fine.
Also, check your website because your website, your Instagram link is not linking through to your Instagram account. The button,
I will double
not
check
linking
that.
through. Just don't want you to lose any traffic. Where can people go and find out more about you?
I actually think Instagram would be very,
Yes.
very, very essential for this business. So you want to make sure they do link.
Okay, I will do that because my intern's been posting lots of content on Instagram. I didn't realize the link doesn't work, but I will double check on that. Thank you for noticing that and pointing it out.
And best place to go is www.alterationsandbespoke.com, yeah?
Yeah, correct. That's our website.
Brilliant stuff. And where are you? So for anyone who's in London, they've got some last minute alterations. So you guys are in Pimlico, yeah?
Yes, we're in Pimlico. So we are at 44 Morton Street, SW1B2PB. It's kind of sandwiched between Pizza Express and like this really unique vintage furniture shop. But for website also, we're planning to shorten it a little bit and do Altbest. So ALTBES, so alterations, 3 letters, and then bespoke altbest.com. So I'm not sure if we're going to transfer to the new domain or not because it's going to throw people off, but it's just much shorter. So what would be your take?
Domains.
Because
just keep both domains. I like alteration and bespoke.com.
Yeah, I think it's good. Yeah. You can have both. And
what does it do? We do alterations and bespoke. Yeah, brilliant. Call it
exactly.
But you can have 2 domains going to a website if that concerns you.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that people do get to us because the feedback I got from a few people is when they heard alterations and bespoke specialists, it sounded a bit like dry cleaners and they were afraid that the quality would be low.
Yeah, I think you're
so
just
that's why I
about
decided
that.
to.
Don't worry about that. Once they meet you, that's fine. But I think the big thing is because I would go on your website. I went on your website. I thought I'm going to check out their Instagram and I couldn't get there. It was too hard to find. I think lots of people go on your website and then want to check your Instagram out. So that to me is more important.
Okay. I will double check on that. Maybe because I changed the name on Instagram, it delinked or something. I don't know.
Cool. Brilliant. You're amazing. Good talking to you.
Thank you.
Thank you for being on the podcast. We wish you very, very well.
Thank you for inviting me.
All the best.
I appreciate that.
Thanks, Zlata. Take care. See you later.
Thank you.
Bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.
My favourite thing about that whole little section was when you first have to pay your first VAT return and you ring up HMRC and say, this can't be right. This is unfair. No, that's right.
Yeah.
And then it's like a big slap in the face. You've worked hard. You've taken risks.
Yeah.
And then they come along and it's very difficult in a business that's swapping time for money because she charges £20 and the VAT's in the £20 for moving a button or whatever it is. And then, it's just so hard. I mean, I don't think she deserves an 8 and maybe in a year's time we'll do it properly because it's too early in the game, and I think
you're right. Anyone who's in a different country has to leave on Christmas night with a police escort. And
I love that because I'm not happy. I'm not having much luck with men. I'm not having much luck with HMRC. Yeah. I'm not having much luck with staying in the right country.
Just focus on the business. Forget the men. Everything else will work itself out. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, some conversations give you a bit of a reality slap, don't they? You think
Yeah,
you've got it
whatever you
tough.
think you're worrying about, there's always someone in a tougher situation.
Yeah. And had a good attitude about it as well. Right, let's do the business quiz then. No,
It's Jim versus
no ratings
Jimmy
today.
on the quiz this businessy. Business knowledge and fun. Which one's clever and which one's dumb? Izzy Wizzy, let's get
busy.
quizzing.
This is a good one. This is a good one. How much does it cost in materials to make the household cavalry uniform, including breastplate and helmet? This is the royal doodly-doo, ladies and gents. You know what they...
Go on, read that out again.
A trooping of the colour. How much does it cost in materials to make the household cavalry uniform, including breastplate and helmet? Trooping of the colour. They guard the king.
Okay. That's going to be expensive, isn't it?
It's going to be expensive, that. What are you thinking, JB?
I'll go $6,000. It's a lot of metal, isn't there?
I'm going to go
mind you, actually-
6,500.
If
No,
it's
no.
including the cost of making it as well, I'd have gone over 15, but it's just the
How
materials.
much does it cost in materials? Yeah.
You got the,
No,
are these the ones with the bearskin hat? Is it still made of bearskin?
I'm going to stick my 6,500. I think we're both pretty close.
Yeah.
And the answer, JB, what did you say?
$6,000.
£6,000 is the answer.
Is it?
This
I've had
is
an
civic-
absolute steal today, haven't I?
This is still.
Do you remember that? Do you remember that time when we cheated and I got more wrong than I have today?
This is significantly more than the uniform for combat troops, which costs around £2,000. It takes 6 weeks to complete a household cavalry uniform, but in an emergency, it can be done in a day. 30 different materials are used for one uniform. And don't they look fantastic? I love seeing our boys
I know.
or girls in uniforms. Makes me very proud to be British.
I like the ones on the horses that stand there and everyone thinks they're just there for a selfie. They're like, move away! And everyone's like, God, these
Yeah,
guys
yeah,
are rude,
yeah, yeah,
aren't
that's
they?
massive
Or
on-
if they do the like the marching through.
Stand outside the King's Guard!
If you move, if you get in the way of the marching, like you're getting
they've-
run over.
Yeah, yeah, and they've
They
done
don't
it to
care.
kids and everything, haven't they?
Yeah, don't care, do they?
Don't care.
They do not care. I'm a right sucker. I think it must be the algorithm. So like now, I must have watched a few of those videos.
Yeah,
and
no,
then,
they come up on mine all the
Watch how
time
the
as well.
King's Guard react to like a boy in a wheelchair with autism. And like the horse would just like bow its head to this kid, and I'm just like, hey, he's like, what are you
I've
doing?
seen
I'm
that.
like,
I've seen that.
Like
Yeah.
nothing.
No,
Just making a cup of
it's so
tea.
sad.
Like, what are you doing? So you're watching those sad videos again, aren't you? I'm like, yeah. Come on then, get you.
I'd like to point out, if you are enjoying this,
Such a knob. If you're just listening to it, it makes no sense. He got a little pointer from Hong Kong. He's used it every episode today.
I'd like to point out, if you are enjoying this podcast, please like, subscribe, and do all that wonderful stuff, and leave us a review. It makes a big difference.
And if you have got some clothing that needs altering, go to
scratch there.
Go to see Zlata down in Pimlico if you need something changing.
Just having a little scratch.
That's horrible. Right, anything you want to flog to people?
If you want to come along to Business Masterclass and help grow your business, then we'd love to see you there in London. 2 days of entrepreneurial extravaganza.
Are you doing Bash the Bankers this year?
Yeah, we got funding panel, baby.
Funding in the room. So if you're looking to get funding for your business, come along with your idea, and Jimbo will literally hard sell the concept of it to a stage full of normally 5 bankers. And then, the best bit is when they'll go, no, we wouldn't fund that. He goes, why not? She's stupid.
Yeah.
He gets really annoyed with them. Then they have to justify why not. People have had money out of that room, though.
Yeah, absolutely,
They've got funding.
baby.
They've got funding.
They've got funding.
Give us 5 stars if you've enjoyed the show. Leave us a comment and all that kind of good stuff. Other than that, we'll see you on the next pod. Cheers.
We'll see you when you're older.
Ta-da!